Hello and welcome back to the channel. With Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 on the horizon, let's talk about my Flight Sim 2024 wish list. So Microsoft surprised us back in June of last year by announcing MSFS 2024. They've been pretty quiet since then until giving us a little more insight at FS Expo this year. Just this past week, well, probably closer to 2 weeks now by the time I get this out, it seems that NDA has been lifted and a ton of new information has been released. Let's talk about some of that and what my wish list is for 2024. So between the FS Expo presentation and some of the new information that we've seen, it looks like there'll be a natively supported walk-around mode, a max aircraft, and missions with a career tree. I'm actually really looking forward to the walk-around mode, as it's actually one of the things I really enjoy with the Hot Start TBM or Challenger and X-Plane. I like that A2A added one with their Comanche, but you can tell it's limited due to the limitations in the current sim. I'm also intrigued to see what the career tree looks like with its check ride. As a PPL holder, I'm wondering how close to a real check ride this may be. I know Jorg has mentioned in interviews that these aren't games. They've actually worked with the various groups who perform these different job roles to make this an authentic experience. We'll just have to wait and see, but I'm hopeful. Okay, so on to the list. My number one wish list item, and this pretty much goes for any sim at this point, is weather. While Microsoft Flight Simulator's weather looks really impressive, the current sim is lacking the feel associated with some of that weather. So what do I mean by that? Well, flying at the clouds is usually accompanied by some sort of turbulent conditions. Now, this isn't the case with all clouds and all cloud types. However, in MSFS, there's pretty much zero in-cloud turbulence. Flying right into a thunderstorm on live weather is typically very calm, and that's if the storm even shows up properly in the sim. I'm looking to see the consequences of doing that simulated. We'd actually need to do some sort of ADM to determine if you're going to try the approach, go into a hold, or divert. I'm looking to be required to make en route decisions with vectoring around weather. Now for the folks who aren't interested in this, they could simply make it an option. We already have an option for turbulence, which this could be combined with, or if Microsoft wants to get more granular, there could be another one added for in-cloud turbulence effects. Number 2, and this sort of piggybacks off of number 1, is a weather radar API for third parties to use. This will really aid in making those decisions around storms en route if you can paint where the weather actually is. Now, I know this is a hot topic and supposedly there's contractual issues around the weather supplier Media Blue, but hopefully there's some sort of compromise for Flight Sim 2024. On to number 3, night lighting. There's seemingly been multiple changes to night lighting over the years of MSFS to me, none of which have really nailed it down. At least as of this video, it's been the best that it's been so far in my opinion, so here's to being hopeful that they can get it down for 2024. The floating orbs at night simulating street lamps just don't look great, and if I remember correctly, this is some sort of carryover from the FSX and P3D days. X-Plane has always done this better with actual street lamps, traffic lights, and even cop cars on the highways in hot pursuit, so I feel like there's some room for improvement here. The flip side is night lighting at distance is done leaps and bounds better in MSFS. X-Plane has this nasty effect of popping in cubes or sections of ground lighting as you fly, where in MSFS you can see city lights all the way out into the distance. If we could swap the orbs for actual lampposts, I'd be happy. Traffic light's a bonus. Now, from some of the recently released content around MSFS 2024, I can't really tell if the orbs have been changed in the footage that I've seen, but there definitely seems to be an improvement in night lighting. The number 4 spot, photogrammetry improvements. You may be wondering why this is all the way in the number 4 spot. Well, I think it's just because I've accepted and gotten used to it all at this point. Would I like to see it improved? Absolutely. The LED distancing versus performance isn't that great in MSFS. I remember using 4Flight to roughly determine the draw distances to New York City flying westbound after departing FRG, and I believe it's something like 5 to 7 miles before the city is fully drawn in. Anything further than that, and it just looks like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. I'm extremely grateful that we have photogrammetry scenery at all, but I really hope we get the draw distances pushed out just a little further. Now, from what I've seen on some of the stuff that's been pushed to YouTube, I don't think that this has been changed, but I could be mistaken. This may just be a limitation of the current technology. I will say it does seem the generic autogen and forest have been improved, so that's a nice upgrade. Finally, number 5, the flight model. I'm sure this one will probably be controversial, but I don't think the stock flight model is all that terrible. Could it use some improvements? Sure. Some aircraft fly better than others. Something like the Cessna 172 flies pretty close to the real thing with some exceptions. I even did a video comparing it. Other aircraft seem to have an excessive amount of float or are too twitchy. It's tough to say if these are even flight model issues or just a lack of effort put into base aircraft. And I'm sure it's probably a combination of both. I'd say ground handling needs some tweaking as well, but is it terrible? I don't think so. With that said, they did confirm that there's a newer flight model coming in 2024, so I'm excited to see what that's all about. My opinion, home-based sims aren't going to teach you how to fly an aircraft properly. They're great for procedural stuff, running checklists, ATC comms, and practicing an instrument scan. But past that, I'd leave the stick and rudder skills for an actual airplane with a CFI. Bonus slot number 6, prop and fan blade animations. For what we saw at Expo, it looks like we're actually getting this one. I've always hated the stop-motion look of the prop and fan blade animations in MSFS, but this seems to be on the improvement list for 2024, so I'm very excited to see that in action. Thanks for watching. That's all for this one. Post in the comments below what you'd like to see improved upon or added to MSFS 2024. And don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos, and that you can catch me live on twitch.tv/AviatorChris. Be well and fly safe.